Welcome, everybody. Apologize for the technical problems, which is not unusual on a Novia night. Tonight, we got Forex Joe to teach us some of his techniques for trading Forex, obviously. So I'm not going to hold it up anymore. Welcome, everybody, and let's see what some good ideas Joe has for us. Thank you for being here, Joe.
All right. Thank you, sir. I want to appreciate everybody showing up. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, so I have the arrow, but Brian's going to be the one that's going to be moving the slides, so if it seems a little bit off-kilter there, we apologize up front. My name is Forex Joe. I'm going to be talking about using price action along with support and resistance as part of my A to Z trading methodology as we go to the next slide, which should be a disclaimer. Those of you that have had access to the Forex markets, it is something of substance that we hope that you are having success in. There are some of you out there that may not have attempted the Forex markets. You've been trading in the stock markets or taking a look at maybe the futures or commodity markets. But I'm going to share with you tonight why I love the Forex markets as you read this disclaimer, and then we'll go to the next slide, and share with you some techniques tonight that are really unique that's going to give you an opportunity and hopefully a view of how the Forex markets will participate. What I like to do is begin each presentation showing each of the folks these gears. Now, normally these gears rotate, but they're not rotating in here, so we use this kind of like as a 15-minute chart all the way to the far left-hand side over here. And when you see a situation where you have charts that are moving 15-minute. Okay, now this is all out of kilter here. But anyway, the gears from the previous slide kind of more or less show a 15-minute chart rolling into a 30-minute, into a 1 hour, and you can see the growth of these gears. And we try to put this in perspective, whether you're a scalper or a day trader, what it takes to be able to participate in these markets using a 15-minute to a 1 hour chart as a day or scalping type technique. Or I start each day with a 24-hour chart, and I'm looking to go left to right. I'm looking to build off the weekly and monthly charts and pick up more pips as a swing position trader as we go to the next slide. During your journey in the Forex markets, you're going to have what I call mini light bulb moments. Now, I've been trading in the Forex market since 2001. I've created a unique trading style, and we show my little buddy here with the light bulb moments to try to, after a positive repetition of every class that we do, you start building in your subconscious mind. You'll start going to bed at night, and you'll see these little light bulbs, and you'll see these gears that are rotating if you are a member of our club. And in the process, we try to share how you can build your subconscious mind to be able to participate in the most liquid market on earth today as we go to the next slide. So basically what I want to share with you today is kind of like some training. Price action, the foundation of all trading price action is chart reading. And those of you that want to learn how to trade on your own, it becomes imperative that you begin the process, and we try to teach everything with the next slide, of keeping it simple. And go ahead and put those all down, Brian, all of them right there. And basically what we're going to be talking about tonight is, number one, price action, support and resistance, consolidation, breakouts, retest, and basically what you will see and how you repeat the process over and over and over again to get to a conclusion. Well, this conclusion translates that many people want to become Forex traders, but yet they begin with unrealistic expectations. The reason that so many people fail in the Forex markets is that a lot of people come in with unrealistic expectations. They have early success, and they haven't really quite figured out why. Everything that we do at 21st Century Forex Trader is based on classroom instruction and techniques that's going to allow you to prosper long term as we go to the next slide. And during this process, we have very heavily into repetition. So if you wanted to start the process, what you would go in and do is strip down a 15-minute chart to where you would just have candles. And in this price action, and you can go ahead and put everything up on this slide, Brian, I'll just kind of explain it. that price action is just basically the movement of price. I usually cover the euro-US dollar because this is something I've been writing about in forums and been teaching since 2001. We ask each and every one of you to locate one currency pair that you want to learn everything about. So besides the euro-US dollar, let's say that you wanted to pick the pound dollar. So during the process, you might strip down a chart of a 15-minute the pound US dollar chart and just watch the price day after day and draw your lines using the candlestick, because the candlestick is an important tool to visually analyze price action. And you're going to have movements of price, and these movements of price is displayed in the chart candle patterns. Now this kind of follows up with what Mr. Bigelow does as far as teaching all the techniques that he has. And there are various rules of engagements to follow depending on what specific trading personality or style that you use. Now, we've talked about the 4 different trading styles: scalping, day trading, swing trading, position trading. As we go to the next slide, you can put the whole slide up, Brian. And where I'm very unique is that I have been able to develop techniques that will allow you to prosper no matter what trading style that you use. So when you have this analysis of these patterns, it reveals random movement of price. You start to see what is happening. I like to say that in the Forex markets, I come from a sports betting background. I was a sports analyst for 30 years. I used to have radio shows talking about college and pro football games. I covered the NFL draft for like 18 years from start to finish. I went to training camp with the Dallas Cowboys for many years during the time they were champions back in the 90s. I taught gamblers how to gamble. I made selections on football, basketball, and baseball games. Well, those of you that's ever went to Las Vegas and actually bet on a football game know that you have spreads that you are always looking for unique numbers to try to get that half-point, 1-point edge. I did an exhaustive 3-year study in the Forex markets and found that it was all about numbers. The numbers don't lie, and that there are reoccurring numbers that happen on a continuing basis. So part of this is support and resistance, and through the support and resistance, then we're looking to compress and compact channels and are looking for breakouts and consolidations, and these are all just examples of price action. So basically what we're trying to do is just keep it simple, show you how to begin the process for those of you that want to learn how to trade on your own. There are some of you out there that could care less about learning how to trade, but yet you'd still want information, and you want to be able to use that information to be able to participate and generate some extra money. Well, the candlestick patterns that are taught, such as the Harami, engulfing, and doji, are all examples of visually interpreted price action. There is nothing better than stripping down a chart and just watching the candlesticks on a 15-minute chart and charting that for a period of several weeks or 3 to 4 months, and you begin to start learning how the currency pair that you're watching operates. Then you start throwing in some more to the soup or stew that we're making. We start throwing in numbers. All these numbers have been generated from the various proprietary programs and mathematical statistical analysis that I did during my exhaustive 3-year study of price action. And the bottom line is, the numbers don't lie in the Forex markets. They are very reoccurring. And we have actually seen where we've opened up with a 15-minute chart, and even when you only have pairs moving 60 to 80 pips a day, you can take the high and the low off that 15-minute chart. You can then implant it over to an hour chart, a daily chart, weekly chart, and monthly chart, and start seeing visually how you can multiply pips. For somebody that's just getting into the market, as we go to the next slide, that is trying to just get 3 to 10 pips, they're going to have different rules of engagement from somebody who is attempting to try to get 100 to 200 pips, and in some cases 500 pips to 1,000. Well, price action is the recent price activity of a currency pair. What I'm doing, and we seem to have a gray deal in the middle of this, Brian, I don't know what's causing that, but we do. Price action is based off of price only. It's the source of all indicators. So what I like to call under current market conditions, we are looking at price for what's happening in a 24-hour period. Now, I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not the amazing Kreskin. I'm not really somebody that makes predictions down the road, even though a lot of people want to know. I'm looking at probability factors for both buys and sells. I give out alerts that give you probability factors of both buy and sell trade recommendations for up to 22 currency pairs. Those of you that are seeking to trade alone and you strip down these charts, you're going to learn how price action on the currency pairs and how they trade. Others that don't have much time, some of you might only have an hour or two a day in the markets or less, then you're looking for information immediately that you can participate in the markets and hopefully have more winners than you do losers and generate positive pips as we go to the next slide. So during the journey, I found out that if you use different rules of engagement with the different charts, most people don't understand the multiple time frames. So right now what we have is we have a chart that was all clear, and as we put everything in here, and by the way, I'll redo this, and so we can send this out to everybody. It's a little bit more, since we're having this difficulty. I'll record this tomorrow, and I'll give it to Stephen for him to send out to everybody, and it'll be kind of a more of a detailed, going slide by slide instead of this difficulty that we're having tonight, and I apologize for that. It was on my end. In fact, they don't let me out much. They call me Rain Man. They just kind of keep me inside and let me trade all the time. They don't get me outside too much. It's kind of hard for me to learn to walk and chew gum at the same time, so me being technical is kind of difficult. But number one, you can see that support has been established. Number two, we have a consolidation where it's going sideways. And this could be any chart. This could be a 15-minute chart. It could be a 1-hour chart. It could be a daily chart, a weekly chart, or a monthly chart. Number three, we see a breakout where it breaks out below. Number four, we see a retest of the broken support. Number five, we see where resistance is established and is held. And number six, we see then where it bounces back up and we have a breakout. Now, depending on your trading style, if you're using a 5 to 10-minute, 15-minute chart, if you're scalping, you're going to be getting in and out of trades a lot more than somebody that's going to be using a 4-hour or a daily or weekly chart, because these candles would have a lot different meaning. The biggest problem as we go to the next chart that we find is that most people are trying to have one size fits all. It does not happen in the Forex markets. We have kept it simplified, and what people seem to run into is that they have an issue with simplicity. Most people want to over-dramatize everything. Most people want to overemphasize. Most people want to make it what it isn't. If you will just go into the format of keep it simple, follow some simple techniques, and that you're looking at numbers, we've all been looking at numbers since we first came onto this earth, then you're going to be able to learn how to trade in a $4 trillion a day market. We're never going to get the entire piece of the pie. We're never going to be able to compete with the hedge funds. We're never going to be able to compete with the central banks, but we're going to be able to pluck pips. And retail traders have only had this ability since 1998. This is why I believe that more new millionaires are going to be come from the Forex markets in the next decade than any other business. Now, in this, we've shown, now 1 and 2, support has been established. Then you have a retest and support is confirmed before it takes off. So you have one where support has been established. It goes kind of sideways, it consolidates, it retests, support's been confirmed, and then it takes off on a buy. And those of you that are using the techniques that Mr. Bigelow teaches as far as his candlestick patterns, you can use the same analogy when you're stripping down charts, but now all of a sudden you're trading Forex and there's a different set of numbers. You're trading one currency against another currency, and we'll throw in all the different numbers along with the training that you have that gives you even more of an opportunity to have more tools in your toolbox as we go to the next slide to be able to trade on a consistent basis. Now, in looking at the next slide, which pretty much the opposite of support is just resistance. Resistance is established, and then resistance is confirmed. So basically, when you drew this line straight across, you've had support that's been confirmed, then you have resistance that's confirmed, and you've had movement. Now, once again, this could be on a 15-minute chart. It could be on a 4-hour chart. It could be on a daily, weekly, or monthly chart. What you need to understand is that whichever chart that it's on will determine the type of trading style that you're going to utilize and the number of pips and the amount of risk that you're going to participate in as we go to the next slide. If you can keep these simple techniques in mind, then learning the Forex really becomes simple. What you run into is the biggest problem that everybody has in the world of trading: greed and an attachment to money. All humans have an attachment to money, and because they're inexperienced, when they have a few losers, it scares the bejeebers out of them. Well, in this slide, we show how consolidation prices trading in a tight range. It's going sideways, and if we hit the next one, as we see a consolidation, then what are we doing? We're being patient, and we are waiting for an eventual breakout. So what you have here now is that you have, number 2, a breakout of established resistance is number 2. A breakout of established support is 1. So we've had the consolidation going sideways. It went up. Then we had an area where the line was drawn. It broke through support in the number 1 area. Then you see it going down, comes back up and retests, down, and then it breaks through in the number 2. This is quite common. It happens all the time. And I hear so many times that people say, well, I don't have enough trades that I can execute in Forex markets. Well, we have covered that issue, and we have that issue covered. The problem that we have is most people won't do it in a practice regiment demo account as we go to the next slide. Most people want, the minute they have a little bit of success, they start counting down the money from the pips that they've had, from the success they've had from the program, and all of a sudden they want to start trading live even though they don't know why they had the success that they had. That's why everything that I do is based on a kind of a college atmosphere education. We want you to learn a new vocation for life. Well, let's talk a little bit about support. Support and resistance levels are not exact price points. They are ranges or areas. What I've been able to do by using proprietary numbers is come up with what we call a cluster of numbers. These cluster of numbers are called our thermal grids. These thermal grids allow you to hide behind and have shortened risk available to you, which means you have smaller stop losses. I can tell you that if you have the same stop loss for every trade that you execute, then your retail broker is going to figure this out, and you're going to get stopped out more often than not. You're going to get what's called in the business fished, and you're also going to find a situation where it seems to spike up exactly to where your stop loss is before it takes off and goes the other way. We've seen it happen many times. Support is an area where prices struggle to go below. Support levels of higher time frames are weighed heavier than lower time frames. What does that mean? That means that support levels of higher time frames are looking at more pips when you get to a higher time frame than those that are in a lower time frame. Remember, the gears. You're looking at a 15-minute chart that has to rotate 4 times before it gets to an hour. And the rotation continues till it gets into a 4-hour, into a daily, weekly, and monthly chart as we go to the next slide. Those of you that want to start adding support and resistance, it's real simple. Support is kind of like this guy here, that if he doesn't hold, he's got a long way to fall. It's not exactly a fall that he wants to take. In fact, looking at that, that would scare the bejeebers out of anybody. On the resistance side, you've got me. I'm beating my head against the wall because I was unable to get the software to work to be able to show you this presentation where I have to have somebody else do it. So here I am putting knots on my head, and that's resistance as we move to the next slide. Everything that we do, we try to make it visual and try to keep it simple. And if you make it visual and you keep it simple and you follow the process, then you're going to be able to prosper and begin the learning experience. Everything that has to do with anything in life has to do with repetition. Now, just recently we had Zig Ziglar died. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He died yesterday, a man of 86 years old, a guy I knew for a long time, well-respected man that really changed his sense of direction not until he was in his 40s. And then when he got into his 40s, he was kind of floundering around. And finally a person came up to him who really believed in him and said, you know, you can be one of the top people in this company if you just make that as your mission. He listened to that person, and the next year he was number 2 overall in the company out of about 7,000 people. Well, it all comes between your ears. Not only do you have to and want to be able to succeed in the Forex markets, but most people, we found that almost 75 to 80% of the people never spend any time feeding their mind or understanding the psychology of mindset. And I have a program called psychology of trading, utilizing your mindset, that has been in place for 10 years. And I used to get laughed at. I used to get chastised. People just, we don't care about that. Just, what's the picks? It's kind of like when I was giving out sports picks. If I would go 3-0 on Saturday, 4-0 on Sunday, nobody cared. Hey, who do you like on the Monday night football game? And then they'd lose that game. Next thing I know, I'd go 7-1. They've lost all their money because they were clueless about having money management. Well, in this slide, we show that support has been established. Number one, support has been confirmed as we move on to the next slide. And we're showing this over and over again to show you just how simple this is. Now I'm showing you a U.S. daily chart that had strong support with this line drew across at 3280. The first number there, you'll see that support was established, support was confirmed, and this was all the way back in May of 2010. Now we move all the way across this chart, and it's a daily chart, to where support was broken and retested again all the way down to August of 2010. So once again, this number became relevant. It was a reoccurring number that if you understand what the reoccurring numbers are, and what I call is, I have a system in place called 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 channels. It's more or less based on the big dogs, the daily, weekly, and monthly channels. When 2 out of 3 match up, it demands my attention as a swing trader. When 3 of the 3 match up, get out of my way, don't hesitate, don't procrastinate, leave me alone. I'm going to be looking at that level until we get a breakout from this 3280 area. As you can see, once it broke out of this 3280 area, it dropped all the way down to like 119 in the middle of that chart, and before it bounced back up. This is how you get movements of 500, 1,000 pips or more. And what I like to teach is how to have continuation or scaling back in with swing trades that alleviates the fact that you're just based on one trade and letting that trade run, because most people won't let the trade run. That's why I developed, as we go to the next slide, a system called the gravy train method. And this gravy train method takes all of human emotion out. So let's talk a little bit about resistance, and it's pretty much opposite of support. Support and resistance levels are not exact price points. They're price ranges or areas. The more clusters, the more information that you can have around an area under current market conditions, the more relevant that number becomes. Resistance, an area where prices struggle to go above. Resistance levels of higher time frames are weighed heavier than lower time frames as we go to the next slide. Now, if you're a scalper or day traders will turn their computers off and they'll get out of the trades before they ever think about getting off their computer, because if they're in a trade and they shut off their computer, they're going to be a nervous wreck for the rest of the night. As a swing trader, you learn patience because you might only trade 2 or 3 times a week. As a position trader, you got to have a tremendous amount of patience because you load up the wagons, you might only trade 2 or 3 times a month. The rest of the time is practice, preparing. All my analogies that I use is sports oriented. I'm always talking about professional teams, professional coaches. I consider myself a coach mentor in the Forex markets with this much experience. And what I'm sharing is everything that I'm sharing with you is what I do live in the markets. And if you'll follow the system, it works. Those of you that will strip down your charts beginning tomorrow, just take a 15-minute chart and begin the process for the next week, month, 3 months, 6 months, and more you pour into it and give it quality attention, the more you're going to understand. Quite basically, we just cover this right now. Resistance established with number 1. Resistance confirmed with number 2. We're just using the same chart over and over and showing you how this works. But you can take any of the 22 currency pairs that we cover and it would work. This is one of my favorite charts because this goes all the way back to July of 2008. I am still in a trade off a bounce of 160 in the Euro-US dollar. I have many clients that are in the same position. The Euro-US daily chart had strong resistance at 5,900. We had what's called bias and key numbers that are part of our statistical analysis that said that the next number in the sequence was 6022. Now this was before the Euro-US dollar had ever reached 160. We had projected out that the number was 6022. Well, as you can see, number 1, resistance was established. Number 2, resistance was confirmed. It could not break through the 159 area. Number 3, it struggled to stay above, and it went all the way to 60.18, or within 4 pips of our projection. Then it reversed. It went below 159, and then you go all the way over here to number 4, resistance was confirmed. And then number 5, it struggled to stay above. It went to 60.38. Once again, our number was 60.22. It went 16 pips above. It now has reversed, and we are currently in the 129 to 130 range. We are 3,000 pips away from where we were July of 28. My point of contention is, instead of trying to figure out what direction it's always going to go, have parameters, have rules of engagement, so when it does decide to go, you are along for the ride. And if you missed it, imagine the possibilities of being in a trade or a sale at 160, 150, 140, and 130. Now, this is not only visual, this has happened. I have clients that's done it, and they've done it with more than one pair. I've had many people that used to make a living. Many of you that are old-time traders will remember the carry trade with the pound-yen. And then the pound-yen went the way of the carry trade when interest rates started to erode from all the countries. So as we go to the next slide, I like to say that in the Forex markets, you have to improvise, adapt, and overcome. You need somebody that's walked the path. So as we show consolidation, I kind of like walking the path with consolidation. To me, the currency pairs will not go straight up or straight down continuously. They're like a marathon runner. A marathon runner will stop, and he will need some type of drink, whether it's Gatorade or some type of water before he continues. Consolidation is when price remains within a support resistance level for an unusual length of time. We call that a specific compressed channel. We're looking to compress and compact the channels so we can then get a sense of direction so that they break out, and hopefully the trends on the smaller time frames are present within the consolidation on the larger time frames. So you might have an area on a 15-minute 1-hour chart that's 30 to 50 pips in a channel. In a day chart, it might be 150 to 350 pips. In a monthly chart, it could be 1,000 to 3,000 pips. Imagine the possibility of getting at the tops and the bottoms of these channels, knowing where they're located at, and then seeing if they break on through to the other side, to quote Jim Morrison in The Doors, or a possibility of them reversing and going another 1,000 pips or more, and you just participating. This is due to the number of pips on higher time frames causing retracements and consolidations on smaller time frames. Now, this is all confusing right now to some of you that are just looking at this and say, what in the world is this crazy guy talking about? But if you start reviewing the price action and you start going through what we're covering, it becomes very simple because everything that we do is kept simple. We make it fun as we go to the next slide. The biggest problem that we find with people is that they are their own enemies. I like to say that your opponent is yourself. You're always fighting yourself because you just can't have enough patience or discipline to follow the plan for an extended period of time if you're inexperienced. You're like a rookie. You just want to be at the top of the food chain right away. Well, it takes a little bit of effort. You wouldn't want to have need of surgery on your brain and have somebody that's only went to 50% of their education to operate on your brain, would you? Well, people won't sit there and give the Forex markets the quality of attention it desires and look at it as a full-time business and a vocation for life. They want to get in 30 to 90 days and become, filthy rich because that's what they've been seduced by. Some of the people out there just marketed systems that where you turn 5,000 into 2 million that cannot be duplicatable. It's called you're being seduced, folks, and you're being scammed. This is all proven techniques that we're showing you. It's all proven theories. Almost all professional traders cover the same thing. They talk about the same thing. Where I'm outside the box is I come from a numbers area, and I just apply more numbers that most people call support resistance. Now, on this slide, we talk about consolidation. Consolidation is trading in a tight range going sideways. Now, earlier, I alluded to the fact that if it's going sideways, this could be a 15-minute chart to where it could be 30 to 40 pips, It could be a daily chart where it's 150 to 300 pips. It could be a monthly chart, folks, where it's 1,000 to 3,000 pips. That's why learning the term multiple time frames, or what time frame analysis, will be your next best friend, after you start doing price action, this exercise, as we go to the next slide. So those of you that are becoming full-time traders, you're going to spend a lot of time here stripping down the charts, and then after you strip down the charts, you're going to move on to the next level. Well, in this daily chart, we show up close a consolidation and no clear trend that resistance was established in number 1. Number 2, support was established. Number 3, support was confirmed. Number 4 over here, so resistance was confirmed again. And number 5, it struggled to stay below. Now, over this period of time, which goes all the way from February of 2010 to about March of 2010, you had a period of time to where it went sideways. If you were trying to pick up X amount of pips, it would be unrealistic. That's what we're talking about, having unrealistic expectations as we go to the next slide. You should never go into a trade without understanding predetermined entry-exit strategies along with what your stop loss is and what is the possibility that you could generate positive pips if it decides to take off. Now, on this hourly chart that we show here for the Euro-US dollar, same time frame, it shows trending and trade opportunities. So we dropped from the day chart down to an hour chart, and you see there's more trading opportunities for short-term traders. You have a breakup and a retest in the number 1 box. In the number 2 box, you have a breakup and a retest. In the number 3, you have a breakdown and a retest. This will all be confirmed for those of you that just strip down a chart, start using a 15-minute chart as we move to the next slide. And what happens is, after you put the previous 24-hour high and low on a 15-minute chart, then guess what happens? You can then hit a 15-minute, go to a 4-hour, to a daily, weekly, and monthly charts, and you'll start seeing reoccurring themes, reoccurring numbers that become substance. And somebody says, well, Forex Joe, I never was good with numbers. How will I know this? Well, that's the beauty of the system. We put all the numbers together for you so you'll know in advance. You know, and watching Mr. Bigelow's presentation about candlesticks, my thing about trading candlesticks is it was Professor Plum who killed the person with a candlestick in the library, dating back to an old Clue game when I was growing up. I never was much of a person that learned candlesticks, but I was very intrigued by his presentation. I understand candlesticks. I was trading candlesticks at a young age like everybody was, but I got to the point where I understood numbers and probability factors that I can almost spell out in many instances in narrative form to let a pair go to a certain area, and when it hits this area, reverse and then get into this trade. This is how I write reports, and it's been very accurate. When you're talking about breakouts, we're more or less looking for breakouts for the overall trend. There's no better feeling than having an overall trend, especially if you're in a trade like the Euro-US dollar since 2008 that's dropped from 160 to the 129, 130 area. So breakouts always follows consolidation. You can put it on the board. It's a 100% absolute. Never know when it's going to happen. It might stay in a consolidation range of 100 to 150 pips for a period of time. It might be a consolidation range of 300 to 500 pips, but eventually it's going to break out. The breakouts may be caused from news drivers, session opens, Asia, London, U.S. Everything we talk about sessions, U.S. session, London session, Asian session, 24-hour session. Rumors versus facts or aberrations in the markets. One of the rumors that we just recently had this week was the fact that Greece restructuring their debt brought a little bit of a bump up for the euro, but it did not sustain. You might have profit taking from the major players. Remember, we're all just minnows in a shark tank. Everybody here that's watching this live or reviewing this tape, we could include all of our money and it wouldn't matter. We're never going to be able to compete with the big boys, but we're all going to be able to take a piece of our pip pie as we go to the next slide. So those of you that are wanting to learn how to trade, your number one goal is to strip down the charts and start learning on a 15-minute chart price action. As you start to understand, you then graduate to either a 1-hour, 4-hour, daily, and then if you really want to go to double jeopardy where the scores really matter, focus on weekly and monthly charts for those of you that want to become swing and position traders. The reason I love swing position trading is I don't have to get in and out all day long every day. I love to bet horses. I've developed horse racing programs, so I'd rather be betting on horses and trying to beat a horse than I would. I think Mr. Bigelow was talking about that he hadn't played golf in 5 years, but he used to love to play golf, and then he would check the system that he shares with everyone. Well, I like to get everything out of the way, and then I like to go and get ready for the next big Grade 1 horse racing. I just came off the Breeders' Cup where we had a tremendous weekend, and a lot of the probability factors that we use for the Forex markets was still created and used in horse racing. I actually made a software program that we sold and is used today to predict horse racing winners. So in this price action of the breakout, you see that the breakout of established with support is in the box number 1, and then the breakout of established resistance is in box number 2. This is going to happen consistently. The reason that I never did want to trade many stocks is there's so many of them. I mean, I'm ADD, I'm Rain Man, I can't focus, I get distracted easily. I love to trade the 4 majors, you know, the top 7 pairs, and we cover 22 pairs. I give out trade recommendations on 22 pairs daily, buy and sell trade recommendations. It keeps me busy, got everything automated. And then the report that I write is something that I do basically each day on a daily basis as we go to the next slide. So I like to value my most valuable commodity, time. In the past, I didn't really care about time. I just worked all the time. They just locked me up, and I worked 16, 18 hours a day, and now I'm kind of getting more of a life. Let's go to the next slide, Brian, if we can, as we wait for this to come up. So in this hourly chart, we show that the breakout on the first one is a breakout up from consolidation. So basically, this went sideways, and again, this chart could be, this is a 1-hour chart, but this chart could have been a 1 hour, it could have been a 4 hour, it could have been a daily, weekly, or monthly. And all of a sudden you have the candles that shot up. More than likely this was probably a news event that caused this to move up. And we have rules of engagement for news events. We have rules of engagement for everything. Number 2, it has a breakout down from consolidation. So after the original 2 candles there on the hour chart shot up, we had some consolidation. It goes sideways. And then it broke back down. It did not sustain the move. A lot of times we call this rumor versus fact as we go to the next slide. So I have crazy wording. You know, whenever we have special announcements, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up on a farm. I talk about roller derby alerts. Some of you growing up, you might have saw roller derby when you were a kid. I have growing up on the farm, I have a thing called a gravy train method, where we have a system in place that's automated that you can take profit 1, take profit 2, and it moves your stop loss to break even plus 1, and takes all the fear, self-doubt, and emotion of humans. Because us humans, we can't make the right decisions. We'd rather let the losers run, and every time we get a winner run, we start counting our money, so we stop the trade. It's amazing. A retest is when the price breaks out from consolidation, then it comes back to the previous support resistance level. When it comes back to that retest, if it's during one of our cluster numbers, we have rules of engagement of what to do. We're always looking at potential buys and sells at each 24-hour period, and then let the markets do what it's going to do. Because guess what? The market is what it is. It's going to do what it's going to do, and we can't stop it as we go to the next slide. Now, yeah, I can make some probability factors and decisions about where it's going to be, but does that put any positive pips in your pocket? Not really. The bottom line is what you do in current market conditions, executing trades in live current market conditions, and making sure that you generate positive pips. Here's another price action retest where it retests a previous support on number 1 and number 2. As we go to the next slide. And again, we just keep showing this over and over again. And once you start participating in this price action exercise, you're going to start seeing wonderful things happen. Now, this is a piece of our software that we have. You'll see the different color codes there. The different color codes that you see, the orange, the green, and the gray, just tell us what the time frame is. So in other words, it tells us the Asian session, the U.S. session, the London session, when they overlap. In this capacity, we had a trade that hit for 20 pips, 10 pips, and it came back and took us out. We had a 1 pip profit because everything we do is in a third. So we ended up with 31 pips in this deal as it broke through support. It went down to the next level, and then it came back and took us out as we go to the next slide. And we have hundreds of these. On this one, we have one where we had a critical line. This was, see this green line across the middle right there, and that is a cluster of our numbers, and then it breaks through support, and then when it breaks through support right there in the middle, it comes back and retests, and then it drops like a rock. So if you understand candlesticks, you're ahead of everybody else, because not only do you now understand candlesticks, but now you have a series of numbers that you can participate in, or ranges. And there's no better feeling than knowing in advance what the next range is as we go to the next slide. You see, many folks will sit there on the trade and they won't have a clue of what's happening. Me, I like to be prepared. I like to know what the next range is. On this one, we have, the black line drawn up there. It eventually comes out. It tests resistance. It comes back and tests again. It does not break through. It comes back with that little doji right there, and then that means it's a reversal, and then we picked up 21, 38, and 17 pips. Everything's on a third here. We have 3 lots. It can be 3 lots. It can be 3 mini lots. It can be 3 micro lots. It's depending on your bankroll as we go to the next slide. And I'll speed this up here because we didn't get started for about 15 minutes. So here is your homework. If you're looking to become a full-time trader, this becomes an absolute. I do not know many full-time traders in the Forex markets that did not do this homework. In fact, at least 3 or 4 of the top traders in the world that I respect, that were mentors to me, said this is what they did to get started. Now most of them trade off 3x5 cards, and they can just look at the numbers. 3 of them can. The 4th guy in the group, he still goes crazy looking at, but he's trading in a lower time frame. The first 3 are swing position traders. The last guy is a day trader, and God bless him. I don't know how he does it, but he's one of the best day traders around. So here's your homework. You print out a Euro-US 15-minute chart on your platform. You strip it down. You start drawing support and resistance lines. You print out other charts to learn how price action behaves for each currency pair. Especially, you're going to pick one pair that you're going to learn everything about it. We call you stock a currency pair. When you stock a currency pair, you're learning everything you can about that country. The country, if it's a pound, dollar, you're going to learn everything about England, everything about the U.S., news. And eventually, you're going to get good at trading this pair. Once you're able to trade that pair for 3 consecutive months and generate positive pips, you're ready to go live. Now, somebody's sitting there right now saying, 3 consecutive months? I don't want to wait that long. Well, folks, why wouldn't you? If you're going to learn a vocation for life and you're going to participate in the most liquid market on earth and you're going to do it in a $4 trillion a day market, would it be too much to ask that you spend a little bit of time and get trained? Come on. Once you fully grasp and understand these time frames of price action, you can then review and go from a 15-minute to a 1-hour, 4-hour, daily, weekly, or monthly, depending on what trading style that you utilize. And the light bulb that we showed you at the first of this presentation will kick on. You will continue to have light bulb moments. I've been in this. I'm embarking on my 12th year, and I have light bulb moments every week. This is why I love the markets. They're challenging. You never know what's going to happen in the world. You never know what's going to cause rumor versus fact for a pair to go up or down. Is it going to stay up or stay down? Is it going to reverse? What's happening? And what's going on as we go to the next slide. And it looks like we lost it. So I don't know what happened to Brian there. Hopefully he'll be back.
That's my bad. I think I just closed that application. What happened?
And we were going along so well.
I know, we were cruising right along. I don't know what I just did here. Is it showing up now?
No.
Oh, no. Try this again. Okay. Still nothing. I don't know what happened.
Well, it's halfway on. It's okay. There it is. There you got the disclaimer.
Okay.
I don't know what slide number we were on. Can you get to it?
I'll get it. Yeah. I'm very sorry about that.
They're saying slide 40. They're very attentive. I've kept their attention. Most usually I've lost everybody by now. We have some serious folks here tonight.
All right, there we are. Guys, thanks for bearing with us. This is, we really had some challenges today getting this thing going. And we never have challenges on Omnovia. It just happened to be one of those evenings where we did some computer upgrades yesterday, and I think Windows 8 might be giving us some issues here. So at any rate, back to you, Forex Joe.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to the next slide. There's your homework, and once again, we'll make sure. Now, I was talking about different numbers that I have created, bias and key numbers, and you can take a look at these kind of forecasted numbers, and I kind of put the importance of them. My bias and key numbers are part of my 3.5-year exhaustive study where I put in specific numbers that are reoccurring that you can know in advance. When you heard me talking about earlier, knowing that if the pair goes up or down, what is the next number in the sequence? There's no better feeling than knowing where a cluster is. So when you take a look at these channels, and you hear me talk about channels, you hear me talking about 2 out of 3 or 3 out of the 3 match up. When I'm talking about 2 out of 3 or 3 of the 3 channels matching up, I'm talking about reoccurring numbers on the daily, weekly, and monthly charts. I have those all calculated for all 22 currency pairs, and we know in advance when they're going to happen. In fact, I'm getting ready to do an upgrade of those in the middle of January. I upgrade them once a year, so they'll be upgraded again here in the middle of January, but we know in advance when pairs are moving what the next level is, and anytime I get 2 out of 3 channels or 3 out of the 3 channels that match up, it gets my attention. And we share with you what to do in that capacity as we move to the next slide. Somebody said, are you using fib numbers? The fib numbers are, I use 4 software packages to get the bias and key numbers. I use 8 or 9 technicals that were part of MetaTrader 4. I put them all together and came out with a formula, and that's the formula that I came out with. You can use fib numbers along with these numbers under current market conditions if you choose to do that. Now, these actual levels of this price action, we show you a bottom here of 2059. You'll see some of these other little markings behind them. All these little markings mean something, and we have kind of a chart that allows you to know what's happening. Let's move to the next level, or next slide. Sorry about that. But when you have what's called clusters, I'm looking at this green line that you'll see here. When forecasted and actual levels align, like the 2 out of 3 channels or all 3 match up, that's power. And as you can see, you've got a confluence of events right here where these green lines all matched up together. To the far left, it touched there. As you can see, it touched, and then it goes up, then it comes back, and then it retests, and then it drops like a rock. Well, folks, you can get this happening not only in a 15-minute chart, but you can get it in a daily, weekly, and monthly chart. Now, imagine the possibilities if you have this happen in a daily, weekly, or monthly chart. And if you're in a daily, weekly, or monthly chart, you're talking about hundreds of pips. Hundreds of pips, if you know exactly what the numbers are. And that's what happens with most of the traders. Most of the traders are just sitting there. They're watching their candles open and close. They're waiting for a specific entry. Then all of a sudden they get tired, they pass out, they get distracted. Somebody in the family wants to eat. Somebody needs something. You got to go take the kids to a game. You come back, it takes off. You missed it. Oh my God, I missed the trade. What am I going to do? Is it okay to get in now? You get in now and it reverses and it goes 30 pips against you. You got a 20 pip stop loss. Everybody hold up your hand because we already know that's happened. It happened to everybody. You won't do it using this system. You don't have to do it because you're going to be calm, collected. You're going to be a lion in the jungle. You're the king of the jungle. You're going to be waiting for your prey because there's always trading opportunities as we move to the next slide. And if you're always waiting for trading opportunities, then you're always in position to gather pips. What happens is the most important people, they are patient. Now, this is part of what we call our daily report. A daily report is generated, everything is generated mathematically, covers 22 pairs. And then I have what's called an alert system, ForexU alerts. Well, in this talks about Wednesday, 2012. The current price was 28.08. You see the breakout channel, current wide channel, compressed channel. Those are just simple terms for monthly, daily, and weekly. You'll see over there 30.72 on the breakout and the current wide channel. The euro, if it gets to 30.72, we have a 2 out of 3 situation. So I can tell you right now that the euro's broken above 130 twice this week. Our key number for a breakout as a swing position trader is for it to break and close above 30.72. If it doesn't break and close above 30.72, then we're going to stay in a 130 to 128 range for the rest of this year. That's it. Good night. See you next week. God bless you. Everybody take care. It was that simple. Once you learn this system, it becomes pretty simple to follow. Now, if it does go above 130.72, then we have next numbers in the sequence that we watch for. Now, remember what we've shared with you tonight in learning price action. In learning price action, you're doing 3 things. You're watching how the charts move. You're learning support and resistance. You're learning about consolidation. You're learning about breakouts and entries. Well, if you know what the numbers are in advance, depending on what trading style you're using, if you're scalping, you're just waiting for the reports to come out because immediately we have recommendations on buys and sales. And in this potential trade recommendation, we had a buy at 28.54 and a sell at 27.94. When we talk about 5 of the last 6 sessions were blue, that just means that it's a plus from the previous 24-hour session. If it would have been red, it would have been lower than the previous 24-hour session. We have support and resistance numbers. We have trading ranges, watch bounces on all pairs at the tops and the bottoms of the channels. We have the dominant trend as we have the ECB and then non-farm payroll forthcoming. And we pretty much know in advance what we're waiting for. So if this pair goes above 130, then what I've told my clients this week is sell it at 129.99 because there's not enough power in the thruster, the Jimmy Neutron jetpack, for it to keep going. So for the last 2 times that it's went above 130, we've sold it at 29.29, and people have picked up take profit 1, take profit 2, and they're waiting for it to come back and take them out or see if we're going to go back below 2,900. And it's just like playing a game within structure. And the bottom line is people want to overemphasize. They want so much paralysis by analysis. People are anal. Some people are anal. I got to know why you did this. I can't understand it. I can't push the button unless I know why. All I know is that it works. I've been doing it for years. It's all mathematicals. As we go to the next slide. And if you follow the process, you can learn how to do it too. In a year, may not learn it in 2 years, might take you 3 years. If you're real slow and you only got a year or two, an hour or two in the markets each day, guess what? If you only got an hour or two in the markets each day, it might take you 4 years. But guess what? Many of us went to 4 years of college. How much are you earning off that 4 years of college? If I told you had an opportunity to be in the upper echelon of earners from $250,000 to $700,000 a year after 4 years of earning the Forex markets, I'd have people lining up all the way from Miami, Ohio to New York trying to get in if I was giving away 100 scholarships. Everybody would be selling me their credentials. But yet nobody's willing to put a little bit of effort of their education into themselves. They want instant gratification. We've already brought up our millennium kids. I'm a baby boomer. I'm 56 years old. We've got the millennium kids. You walk into a place right now and you try to get service. They've got all their gadgets. They're talking on the phone. They're pressed, I've seen a 5-year-old the other day type faster than I did. Take a deep breath. Let's do it the old-fashioned way and learn something for life. At 21st Century Forex Trader, we trade the system that I created live. We share the results. We want to fast-track your learning, and I can fast-track you to success. Everything that I've done that would normally take you 3 to 4 years to learn, I can teach you in a year if you're diligent about learning. If you want to follow professional Forex trader examples, my motto is, let's stop talking, let's start trading. Let's go to the next slide. Tonight we're going to make you a special offer, and we're going to see how many people are serious before 2013 hits about getting prepared. Now, we've been in a recession. We've got the fiscal cliff facing us right in the face. Many of you have no idea what's getting ready to happen. But I would say that I would love to be in a position where I'm going to be able to trade one currency pair against another currency pair, or money for money, than I would trying to figure out all the stocks or figure out what your gold and silver is doing on a consistent basis. So I give out detailed trading plans, not just trade signals. These cover 22 currency pairs with a comprehensive, detailed, easy format. We use trade plans live in the markets. We set trades early if you're limited to market access. If you only got an hour in a day in the market, every day at 4 o'clock Central, my 24-hour for the previous day ends. I get reports generated. I put together a report. Then between 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern New York time, in that next hour, we put the daily reports up for the Asian market, and you have reports for the next 24 hours. We have rules of engagement for any style of trading. Whether you're a scalper, whether you're a day trader, swing, or position trader. These reports have generated 1,000+ pips monthly since December 2011. It's all documented. If you were a swing position trader, it's more. It's not about me having more and how many I could do. It's about how many is simple for you to do and duplicate. There wasn't anybody who couldn't have 500 to 1,000 pips each month once they learn the system. Now, if you sign up tomorrow, you're going to learn the system in 3 weeks. Maybe, maybe not. If you're an experienced trader, you ought to be able to follow. You're probably going to be able to supplement and pay for your education for a while until you get it down. If you're brand new to the area, it's going to take a little bit of time. Now, I'm not going to BS you. I'm not going to try to tell you something that's not true. In fact, I'll probably be the most honest person you ever met. But I will pound you into submission until you get it if you're willing to pay the price. And the price is, keep it simple, overcome fear, self-doubt, and emotion by controlling it, by getting educated and training your subconscious mind to create new habits. Everything that I do in this program is how I trade. Go to the next slide. I've been doing it since I started. After 3.5 years, since 2005, I've been teaching since 2006. Here's one deal where we had 155 pips on the pound dollar. Kaboom. We didn't know it was going to take off. It took off with 10 pips, then it went to 38 pips, and then the last bit started running. We called the gravy train. The gravy train's that last lot. It started running, 107 pips. Does that happen every time? No. But by golly, Miss Molly, you want to be there when it does happen because there's no better feeling. Next slide. We try to teach you to just create 200 pips a month. So then I start getting people out with all their credentials. Put that whole slide up because it talks about the trade recommendations. I always know when people start giving me their trade credentials and what they've done is their trading credentials that it doesn't last long term. So I'll have people say, well, you know, I did 500 pips a month, or I do this a month, I do that a month. That's all great and dandy. But the purpose of the exercise is to create simplicity. So if you're able to generate 200 pips every month in every market condition, including when the real estate bubble burst, including when we had the depression, including when we almost threw away the entire financial system, and you're able to have a $10,000 or $20,000 account, and you learn a new word that becomes your best friend called compounding, those of you that are in debt, we're going to really pound you into submission about getting out of debt, being a slave to debt, because we want you to learn the word compounding. You see, the word compounding is when you have money that's given a return to you not paying the debt. And when you have money coming back to you, and you let it compound for 3 years or 36 months, and you generate 200 pips a month, then it will change your lifestyle. There's people out there right now that $300 to $500 a month would come in handy for the next 5 to 10 years. There's other people there that want to get fully educated, that want to be full-time traders. Some of you just want to supplement your retirement. Some of you want to trade for others. No matter where you currently reside, we can help you. Here is a little bit of an example of our trades of the way I write them. You'll have the euro US dollar. At the time I wrote this, it was 25.12. Low of the session was 24.59. Current ranges for swing position players are 25.02, 24.60 to the 22.19, 21.84 area. We had a sell at 24.89 with take profit 1 at 5 to 10 pips. Take profit 2, 10 to 29 pips. Monitor live to see if 24.60 is hit. Now, the reason we have different ranges is that if you're a scalper, you're going to pull off 5 pips in the door, out the door. Your second lot, you're going to be in and out the door at 10 pips. If you're a day trader, you're going to have a different set of rules of engagement. And if you're a swing trader, you're looking to push it more. So we give you variety. We have a smorgasbord here. You're not stopping off at the 7-Eleven trying to get a Slurpee and a hot dog. We're going to have a full-fledged smorgasbord. Then we have what's called ET. ET is not the movie from 1984. It's experienced traders. Let's let the pair move to 25.25, 25.37 area, reverse, ride down to 25.11 to 2500 and beyond. There are many times that I'll tell you, let the pair go to this area. We had one this week. Go to 29.40, 29.30, or excuse me, 29.50, 29.40, went to 29.43. It reversed. They got in. They put take profit 1, take profit 2. Does it happen every time? No. But if it doesn't happen, you have parameters. You have rules of engagement. You can wait. In this, right, we were talking about the trend being your friend. It was 6 straight red sessions. Remember, a red is that it's closed lower than the previous 24 hours. A blue is that it's closed higher. We have a getting started page, everything videos. I don't talk, the videos are 5 to 10 minutes long. We have different videos that will train you. 11 of the last 13 sessions red, 16 of the last 20 red. Look at the trend report. Non-farm payroll was Friday morning. Then on the pound dollar, current was 56.39. We sold at 56.19. Take profit 1, 8 to 25 pips. Take profit 2, 8 to 40 pips. All this is detailed in a narrative form. Then we have, for you experienced traders, besides this, we may have 5 or 6, 7 other pairs for you to look at ranges and what to do with those ranges. And as you learn the system and you start learning the numbers, especially with the euro US dollar or the pairs that I give you in this report or the currency pair that you stock, you will start to see an uptick in your quality of attention because you will start to have success. And we have found that when humans start to have success, they gravitate towards it. It's like a magnet. As we go to the next slide. So if you would like to try this out, and I'm a crazy man, here's one where we had 151 pips move. We didn't know it was going to move 151 pips. I couldn't have predicted that. But we happened to get into a trade, and there was 194 gravy train pips. You can see how that stage shoots straight down. It's no better feeling than catching this thing, and it goes on for days or weeks if you're a swing trader. That's the whole purpose. Now, there are people that are that are scalping day traders. They'll get in and out with their 3 lots sooner than the others. We have rules of engagement to help you. But if you really want to last long term in these markets, which I do, and I'm talking about decades, we have found that swing position traders are the ones that are long lasting. Next slide. So how does this work? Well, we have specific rules of engagement for trades, not just the numbers. The alerts are devised by using my proven strategy now over 11 years. I've embarked on my 12th year in November. Comprehensive format for all trading styles, scalping, day trading, swing position, to step into the markets with confidence. Daily trade plan updates. Sometimes we have 2 a day. Intraday signals with setups as they occur. We have an SMS and RSS feeds. So in other words, when I do an update, I hit it, you get alerted on your cell phone or an email. It works with any MetaTrader 4 trading platform. It's easy to use, and you can get started immediately. There's no long contracts. We want to make an introductory offer to you. Let's go to the next slide. And here's the benefits that you get. 1 to 2 daily trade alerts, and we cover 22 pairs. Trade plan signals that have produced at least 1,000 pips per month since inception. Scalping signals, intraday signals, swing or position signals. Set and forget signals. There's people, have you imagined setting a trade and forgetting it? Risk management entry, stop losses on your trading style with profit targets provided. We give you a scale of how to develop stop losses. Periodical market watch information to keep you on top of the action. I keep on top of the Dow. I just recently did a video talking about the Dow at 13,000 versus the Euro-US dollar and a direct correlation. It's tremendous value. There's no contracts, go month to month. Next slide. Those of you that would like to participate now, it's normally $297 a month. We have the daily alerts, the trade plan alerts for all the major trading areas, the intraday alerts for all the major events. It's $29. For the next 30 days, try it for $29. If you like it at the end of $29, then let us know, and we'll try to put together a package where you take a look at other material that we have and see if you just want the alerts, or if you just want to take a look at some of our other packages, we can bundle it up and work it out. This is the link. There's the link. It's in the, Brian has put the link in the chat, and it's the 21stcenturyforextrader.com/links/special offer. It's $197 a month after the 30 days. $197 a month. Now, folks, we normally charge $297 a month, and you can get it for $197 a month after the first 30 days. Try it out for 30 days. We'll invite you to some of our other classes. We'll show you what we do, and you can take a look and see if this is something that would fit within the parameters of what you're currently doing with your trading, with your Forex trading, especially if you use candlesticks, and look at it to keep simplicity. I'm looking at the numbers don't lie. So at this time, I'll be happy to answer any questions. If allow me a chance to get some water here, or Brian, if you want to come back on, or if Mr. Bigelow wants to come back on, and then we'll get started here momentarily.
In there. A couple of questions in there for you if you want to grab some water real quick. Yeah, basically, just to clarify, so what you're getting here for $29 a month is a pretty incredible deal. It's the reports that Forex Joe puts out daily. So it's his daily analysis on the Forex market, as well as the daily report showing all the various levels that we use to trade. And combining that with some basic candlestick patterns is very, very powerful. So when you see a candlestick pattern setting up and you see a pretty significant support or resistance level right there, it just gives you that extra juice you need to know exactly where to get in and where that price is planning to go, once it starts moving. So, yeah, for $29 for that first month, you get to try it out for the full 30 days and see if it's going to work for you. It's definitely worked for me. And I think one thing that we're also throwing in there, Forex Joe, that wasn't on here is everybody gets access to Forex U Live. And that's a training class that I actually run a couple times a week. I don't do it every day, but a couple times a week. We go in and we look at exactly how to utilize the reports and how to apply those live in the market. And we basically take trades. We do the setups. We call them out and talk through exactly how we're going to utilize those reports on an intraday basis to determine our entries and exits. And generally we have pretty good success with that. It's live, so you don't hit them all on the nose every single time, but we have a pretty good track record of getting in some pretty good positive trades there during that Forex U Live class. If I do reach around and pat myself on the back here real quickly. Forex Joe, if you scroll up, there's some folks just asking a couple of questions about just overall, what's going on with the dollar, direction of the dollar. Someone's asking you for bull picks, so if you want to scroll up and see a few of those.
Okay, well, what I'll do here is I'll start here at the bottom. So let me start right here where Brock is, and then if you got any other questions, if I missed them, just copy and paste them, put them back in. He says, that's a lot of money to break even each month. Brock, if $29 is a lot of money to break even each month, then please don't. It's not about, just cut out 4 of your Starbucks coffees. Look at it as education. This is I like to call this an Ivy League education with a community college outlay of funds. So we're not for you. But look at it this way. You're trading in a $4 trillion a day market. It's the most liquid market on earth today. It runs 24/7 from Sunday night till Friday. You can trade at all hours, so it doesn't matter when you can trade. You can participate. I would definitely participate. Can we use this on the financial markets? Well, we have numbers. If you end up joining us, we have Dow and gold, and we're getting ready to add oil and silver and something else. Oh, we got the dollar index, so you can trade those with us.
By the way, so just to put it into perspective, $197 a month is only 20 pips if you're trading standard live. So,
oh yeah,
I mean,
20 pips.
That's not much.
And look, if you're brand new, we don't want you trading live from the beginning. You know, get in for the first 2 or 3 months and learn. The biggest problem we find is people have early success, then they figure they're smarter. If they're using a cartoon analogy, than Yogi Bear. They're smarter than the average bear, and they're out trying to steal picnic baskets with Boo Boo, and then all of a sudden they get away from it and they get waxed. So you will have early success, but you're not going to know why if you're brand new. So we encourage people to get a practice account. It doesn't cost you anything, and learn this. It's learning a vocation. Are there any lessons to explain the alerts? Yes. Everything on the website it's getting started page. There's an entire list of videos that tell you what to do. Tell you what to do, what to think, what you know, and what you can prove.
Well, we're also we have a live class coming up on Monday, so anyone that's that's in with us right now, you can have tomorrow to have a look at the alerts that come out. But then more importantly, you'd be able to join us on Monday to go through ForexU Live, where we actually talk about the alerts that came out as well as that daily report, and we apply it in live market conditions.
Right. In fact, he'll set trades. In fact, he'll do a recap. Brian does a recap where I talk about swing trades. Brian actually had trades that hit today. We had a class today. Some of the trades picked up pips. So if all you do is listen to what what we tell you to do in the live classes and just what to do on the reports with the euro dollar, then you should be okay here at the beginning. I've never traded Forex. You're the type of people I want. If you've never traded Forex, look at this as the beginning of your education. Come and see what we have to offer. You haven't been polluted by anybody else. I love those type of people. I can really fast track you to success. Do you combine price action signals with support and resistance, or just trade to touch the level? Darren, everything that I do is probability factors from what I tried to explain. I've been doing this for so long that under current market conditions, it depends on what's happening on a daily basis. But it's all explained to you in the reports. So basically what you have to do is just follow the reports. Now, if you're wanting to trade on your own, what I did tonight was share with you the techniques of stripping down your charts and doing price action. And that's what every successful trader that I know that has withstood the test of time has done. So you have the option. If you don't have time to do the price action, then you can get our reports, and you can start coming to the live classes, and we'll start the process of learning. Okay? This is dirt cheap for the value I'm in. Yeah, and if you're, at the end of the first month, if you don't like it, it's month to month. You don't have to continue. In fact, if you like it at the end of the first month, we might put together a special package and include some other incentives to keep you going here. I mean, right now, the live classes that Brian's giving you, we didn't even put that on there. That's $197 a month. So besides this, for $297 a month, you get our live classes, which is $197 a month. So that's even more value. I'm to the point. I'm kind of old and cranky. Either you want to learn how to trade or you don't. Folks, you better wake up. If you haven't figured out what's going on in the world yet, and if you haven't understood what's happening in Greece, if you don't understand what's happening with this fiscal cliff, and you don't have a clue of how much money you lost since 2007, what's getting ready to happen in the next 3 years is going to make that look like a church social. So you better start getting together, because there's going to be two types of people: the people in line helping others, or the people in line trying to get a handout. That's the type of people they're going to be. Your analogies are amazing. Thank you. What about a chart service? Yes, we have software, Percy, but this is day one. We're on page 5 before we get to page 300, and we'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Come join us for this $29. Let's don't jump in. It's winter time. We can't jump into my pool here in Texas tomorrow. It's a little cold. Let's just kind of get the feet a little wet, get them warm, and then we'll show you. Everything we got's on software packages. In other words, everything is detailed. So see, we don't know where you stand. There's some people here that's been trading for less than 6 months. Some of you's only been trading a year. Some of you's been trading 3 or 4 years, bless you, and you're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. The only thing stopping you if you've been trading over a year or 2 years is the 6 inches between your ears. You have a huge attachment to money, and I can help you overcome that. The other problem is people will be in debt. If you're in debt, I'm going to be your worst nightmare because we're going to, pound you into submission about learning how to reduce debt, talk about that word compounding, and have the money work for you. Can we use your system on TradeStation? You can use it as far as executing the trades, yes. We give you the numbers. Whatever platform you use to execute the trades is your business. The software that we have will not work on TradeStation, but yes, the trade alerts, no problem. What would be the best FX pair to look at this time of day in the U.S.? Well, I have become a master of the Euro-US dollar. The Euro-US dollar is the easiest for me, and that's probably the most common one that people trade. What are the advantages and disadvantages of trade? You know what? Mike, here's what I want you to do. For $29, you come take it for 30 days, then you answer that question and we'll put it in the FAQ and you can be the person that tells us what the advantages and disadvantages are. I don't know, don't really care. I don't trade ES and minis. All I know is that I make really good success, have good success at trading Forex, and I can help emulate it and show it to you. Brian's saying our next live class is at 9 a.m. Eastern on Monday morning. You will get an email, you'll be able to attend that class, and we will be doing live trades. We walk through a process. We have what's called a 12-step daily regimen. We show you that 12-step daily regimen of how you can do trades on your own or using the system that we have. All right? Where are you from? I'm a space cadet. I'm from the Cosmic Tumblers, Bill. I'm Rain Man. I'm originally from Indiana. Will you be sending an email we can respond to? I don't know. If you need one, Garrison, I don't know. Garrison says he needs an email, Brian. Send him an email if you want.
Yeah.
This will give the direction. Yeah, this will give the direction of the Dow Jones Index. No, it won't give the direction. What we have is called bias and key numbers that when it goes to a certain area, it will tell you whether the numbers, what to look for either bounces or continuations. Do you recommend any brokers versus others? I think we have some people that we recommend for MetaTrader 4 on our websites. What happens? I love this one. I get this one all the time. What happens to your service if you kick off all of a sudden? Well, my son Kirk, who has been the one that's been averaging 1,000 pips every month, him and Brian take over and they get the keys to the throne. My son gets the keys to the throne and he'll be taken care of. All the automated and everything is in the hands of my attorney, and it will be protected by proprietary stuff, and my son will be in charge with Brian. So instead of listening to me talk, you'll have to listen to Kirk, my son, and Brian. So some people say that's good.
and you'll listen to me anyway during ForexU Live, so you'll get to form a relationship with me as we enter these trades live in the market. How
much is your software to use? It's nothing, Chuck. It's $29. Come for $29, and then if you want to use our software next week, we'll fix you up. Okay? I'll even put that in there. If you sign up for $29 and you want to take a look at our software next week and you want to use it for a while, we might even hook you up to let you do that. And it's no big deal. Do you use higher time frames for directions? Absolutely, positively. It's how I trade. I'm looking at the daily, weekly, monthly charts. Close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. Revert back to the gears. Remember that daily, weekly, and monthly gears, how much bigger they were? Those are what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those three to line up 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 channels so I can pick up hundreds of pips. Is the class recorded? I think they said it would be, yes. Is 18 pips a good move? 5 pips is a good move. 1 pip's a good move. If you trade in regular lots, it's $10. Mini lots is $1. Micro lots is 10 cents. If you've never traded live, we will recommend that you start off with a micro account, which is 10 cents. That way, you can't lose much. The biggest problem is human greed takes over, and they start having early success, and they start counting the money that they don't have, and then they don't follow through. I am huge on education, folks. Huge. Huge on education. Okay? That's the only way you're going to prosper in this world is education. We're having a paradigm change. We're not into the industrial age. We're in a service technology age. And with the advent of the Internet, especially 1998 is when retail customers could participate in the Forex markets. We're all minnows in a shark tank. We're able to get pips. Is there an email to contact you for sign up in January? Tom, we're not doing this in January. I hate to wake you up, bud, but we're doing this tonight. Okay? If you want me, just go under Forex Joe. I'm pretty sure you'll find me if you need me. Where do we sign up? I must have missed it. Right there. Brian just put the link in. Let me put the link in. We don't want you to miss it if you're going to sign up. God bless you. What days are your lessons? You mean what days are our classes? We have classes usually twice a day. We have a non-farm payroll class next week too, folks. We also trade during non-farm payroll. We tell you what to do, rules of engagement during non-farm payroll. So if you sign up, you're going to be able to come to that class. We have a free non-farm payroll class next week.
Yeah, the days for Forex U Live actually they vary. You know, we look at the calendar of scheduled news events and make sure that we don't put it on top of some major announcement that's coming out that would really make the market wacky. So we want to teach you to trade safe. We want to teach you to trade using the right criteria, the right information that you've got there, looking at the right information and then taking trades that are going to make you that have a high probability of making you some pips as opposed to just willy-nilly jumping in a moving bus that that could be a major news announcement.
We do have people that are using my proprietary numbers to trade FX options. They love them. So there was a question: can you use FX options? There's actually people that trade Forex options using the numbers that I produce. This sounds great, but must follow lessons and rules. Well, our Sykes, you're going to create your own lessons and rules once you figure out what your specific trading style is. So this is kind of a journey to figure out where you stand, and then once we figure out where you stand, we're going to mold you into the type of person that you are and trading style that you can best utilize and have success. Okay? If I've missed some questions, if you just copy and paste and turn them back in there, all you got to do is talk to your accountant about taxes. So it will have to do with your accountant. Whenever you sign up for a platform, when you work with that broker, then whatever you do, they'll have summaries. You'll be able to print it all out, and you can give it right to your accountant, and they'll be able to work that out for you. Okay? If you do trade, this becomes educational. Educational is a write-off, so it's about the only thing left with what's getting ready to happen, I think. So that's one good point. At least you still get a write-off here for education. Any other questions? A lot of people still in the room. So if you haven't signed up yet, is there any question that we can, if you're sitting there with splinters on your backside because you're straddling the fence, is there any questions that we can answer, or are you just here because you like me? If there's not going to be any more questions, we can turn it back over here.
Yeah, foreign brokerage, that's a good question. No, I mean, it really varies. I mean, some people like to have a foreign broker because they can hedge at that point, but I don't think it's really necessary. I use ILQ, Institutional Liquidity, for my Forex trading, and they're a U.S. broker that actually allows you to hedge. They do some stuff on the back end that allows it. So I don't think it's really necessary.
I notice that patterns are a little harder to trade on shorter time frames. At least that's what I notice. Why is that? And can this strategy help with that? Yeah, people trade scalps. They tear it up because I give specific numbers. I give specific entries for both buys and sells on scalping. In fact, they're able to sometimes push, instead of getting 3 to 5 pips, they're sometimes able to push it to 8 to 12 pips. So they love it. They love the alerts. So yes, it would definitely help you. Jules, you're writing question. I don't know, do you have any questions? I mean, or if I missed a question above, if you can copy and paste and just type it in, I'd be more than happy to answer it.
I think she was asking about the FX options.
Yes, you can place the trades with anyone. Yeah. As of tonight, what do you see for the Dow Jones? It's closed and it will open tomorrow. Oh, forgive me. I did a class talking about if the Dow's at 13,000 and the direct correlation to the Euro-US dollar. If you join up for the $29, you'll have access to that video and you'll be able to see it. And I'll tell you how to use the Dow during the day and trade the Euro during the day with the Dow either going up or down and above or below 13,000 and using certain areas with the Euro. So if you sign up, you'll get access to that video. Is there anything different I need to set up to trade Forex in my brokerage account? Well, if you're not trading Forex, then you need to get a Forex account. If you're trading stocks, then, yeah, you'll have to get a Forex trading account. But all you do then is just download their platform for it. I'm in Australia. What times are your live session? The one Monday will be 9 o'clock Eastern, Desmond. So I think, depending on where you're at in Australia, you're like 15, what are you? I forgot what Australia is, 18 hours ahead of us? But we record everything, so even if you miss it, we record. We got a members area that's full of recording, and then Brian will do a follow-up on it, and we have all of it recorded. I've never traded Forex. If I sign up, how do I get set up with a brokerage account? Everything's explained in the back office. They'll tell you what to do.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. You can just go to, we have a link for you. Actually go to ILQ and you can get an account set up in just a few minutes that way. At least a demo account and start trading.
Jules, it says, how much do we invest in an account? How about zero? One for the first month on $29. You just try it out on a free account, just get used to it. So it won't cost you anything. How's that? I'd rather you not jump in unless you understand Forex and you start to get trained right. I have no idea how long you've been trading Forex or not. That would be critical in making that decision, and how much can you afford to lose. You know, when I was gambling, teaching gamblers, giving out picks, they never wanted to hear it, but it was always, how much can you afford to lose? That was my motto. That way, if you won, it'd all be appreciative. But if you had a losing streak, it's all called probability factors. If I'm going to hit 60% for a season, there might be weeks where I'll hit 80%, 8 out of 10. There might be a week where I hit 20%. I'll go 2 and 8. I never know when those weeks are going to happen. I'm signing up but can't remove the subscription purchase of $197 on the sign-up page. Do you know what they're talking about, Joan?
Yeah, I do. Because it's $197 a month, and then it has it just simply says that you'll have to be billed $197 a month after that. If you don't want to continue, if you sign up for $29 for the first month and you choose not to continue, just let us know and we just cancel it out for you. In fact, I even think that we use Infusion, which is I think the same process that Steve uses for his cart. I believe you can even go into your own area and cancel on your own without even having to contact us. But just let us know and we can cancel that for you if you choose not to continue after the first month. It's definitely worth the money though to at least give it a look and get those daily reports. The daily reports are incredible, and that's what I use every single day in that live class. Is I use the daily reports to enter my trades, and it's great knowing the support resistance levels and channel information more than anything when you get ready to trade. And I don't use Elliott Wave, no. I'm just strict support resistance, trend lines. It's
I knew an Elliott.
Yeah. Day trading rules in Forex are all about available margin. No, I mean you should never try to margin out your account and day trading. I don't really know what you're asking there, but I mean typically, we teach people that you really should never risk more than 2 to 5% in any one trade. And that trade's going to depend, your risk level is going to depend on what you're looking for reward. Are you scalping or are you looking at something longer term? That's a tough question to answer, but it's kind of a loaded question, I think, at some level. But you should never risk more than 2 to 5% in any one trade.
Forex Joe?
Yes, sir.
Hear me? Yeah, thank you very much. This was a lot of good information. Those of you out here that have any inkling of trading Forex, I think this is probably best way to go at it and make sure you're doing it right. So we appreciate your information tonight, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and Godspeed to everybody, and everybody have a great day. We look forward to those of you that signed up. We'll see you in class Monday.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a great day or evening.